Hi folks, this is Doc Severson again from Options MD. In this video, I want to share some incredibly powerful information with you that literally took me from a place of total desperation to a place where I'm now in control of my financial future. But the road wasn't easy, and I'm hoping to shed some light on my situation so that your path to financial freedom is a whole lot faster and a whole lot less bumpy than mine was. Before we get started, I want to share something with you that happened to me because I suspect that this has either happened to you already or might happen to you before you know it. You see, a few years ago, I was a product manager for a large telecom company. During my prime years with that company, I made a pretty decent paycheck and I worked like a dog because I was a good team player. I'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get home after 7 in the evening, and often missed dinner with my family. The kids went to bed an hour after I got home, and I felt like I was an absentee parent half the time. Sound familiar? And yes, that part stunk, but at least I knew that I was moving up the corporate ladder and able to provide for my family. And then a funny thing happened to me. As I crept into my 40s, suddenly my employment options got smaller and the opportunities for advancement narrowed. Technology was changing quickly and companies realized that they could outsource labor overseas for less money or hire some 22-year-old whiz kid out of college for just a fraction of what I was making. And suddenly I realized I was no longer safe. My job was expendable and employment options were only getting worse. I would often lay awake at night wondering how this would play out. Would I be able to support my family? I realized that I was on the back end of my career curve. I used to be the manager, and now I was reporting to someone 10 years younger than myself. Ever had that happen to you? So somewhere around the mid-90s, I decided that I'd start stock trading as a means of earning some extra income. Maybe I could build up my retirement account and not worry about a job. Why not? If you recall, you've surely heard stories of people making so much money during that bubble they were spitting nickels out of their ears. And those trading gurus that popped up around then made everyone think that you could make boatloads of cash without having to do any work, with little capital, by using their magic system. After all, how hard could it be, right? Well, I had the worst thing happen to me that could ever happen to any trader. I started trading, got on a lucky winning streak, and then thought I was king of the world. Beginner's luck. I bought brand new cars, took my family on vacations, and thought I had unlocked the key to total financial freedom. Little did I know that even a total dummy like me can make money when the market is going up. And I'm embarrassed to say it, but I was trading like a total idiot. I was taking too much risk and thinking I knew what I was doing, when I was no better than a dart-throwing chimpanzee. You see, the year 2000 rolled around with the first big move to the downside, and I quickly realized that I didn't know what I was doing. So I did what I thought was the smart, logical thing and handed over my trading accounts to a very reputable, very large investment company. And trust me, you would know their name. No sooner did I hand them over to my account than they tanked it to 1/3 of its original value. It took about a year, and it was like death by 1,000 cuts. Man, I felt like I did the right thing by listening to their pitch and their experts, but I realized that they didn't have a clue either. So there I was in 2002, realizing my trading account had tanked, my retirement account was sinking, and my job situation was about as scary as a minnow in a shark tank. About that time, I took it upon myself to take control of my own financial future, and I was smart about it this time. After investing in a few seminars and coaching programs, I realized that I could do this. I was interested in options trading because it offered me one of the greatest opportunities to earn money with limited risk using the limited capital that I had at the time, but I was afraid that options would be too complicated and hard to understand. In the way that most people teach options, it is hard to understand. But fortunately, I had a few great teachers who cut through all the jargon and made it so easy to apply that even a young child could get it. But that was not the final answer because I found that even these were easy trades to enter. However, it was a much different story about when and how to exit the trades. They kind of left that part out. I quickly learned that I would have to trade options differently than everyone else. So I completely immersed myself in studying options trading and worked at this stuff for hours, every single day after work. I would even watch the market out of the corner of my eye while at my desk. I was active at the seminars and on forums and completely surrounded myself with some of the smartest people in the business. I wanted this more than anything else, and I was determined to make this work. And within 18 months of making that decision, I did what everyone dreams of doing and put in my 2-week notice and began trading full-time in January 2006. Now, I'll be honest with you, at the time I decided to trade full-time, I didn't really have that much of a plan. I took the leap and burned all my bridges behind me. I had to succeed. All I knew was that I had built a consistent income-producing strategy and I could make enough money to provide for my family. Look, people make decisions based on inspiration or desperation. I did it based on both. So, inspired by this independent lifestyle, I decided to shatter that glass ceiling and run my own business. Now, remember those options trading seminars and courses I told you about? Well, I ended up doing so well with my options trading that it's a little embarrassing to admit, but I quickly became their golden child. They'd take me on their dog and pony shows to show me off as their prize trophy. Heck, I was happy. I was proud, and I was pleased to know that I can inspire many people who take one look at me and say, damn, if he could do it, then I can definitely do it. But the truth is that, yes, I learned a lot from these programs, but they also frustrated me because each one of them was missing an essential ingredient necessary for consistent monthly income. And that's what I hope to help you understand over the course of this video series. So for starters, let me ask you some questions. What are you doing with your money? Is it safe? Are you protected from another market crash? Can you only make money if we're in a bull market? How much could your life change if you made an extra 12 to 36% on your money every year without having to worry about the market direction? Well, I'll tell you one thing. When this technique is done correctly, you'll have better performance than over 90% of all professional money managers. I'd like to show you how it's possible to make consistent monthly income while dispelling a few myths while we're at it. Let's discuss the alternate road to investing, a different path to your goals, and one that might be a shortcut for you. Now, when most people think of investing, they think of stocks, but it takes a lot of capital to trade stocks. Look at a high flyer like Apple going for well over $450 a share today. Do you have 45 grand just to buy 100 shares of stock? And the problem with stock trading is that you have to be 100% correct on your forecast about it going higher over time, or you're sitting on dead money, or worse, losses. Are you ready to buy Apple at these levels? And the way that we pick stocks is usually flawed, as we're playing right into the hands of the professionals that are trying to sell the shares to us. So mutual funds tend to feel safer. However, the majority don't outperform the S&P 500. Like a mammoth fund like Fidelity Magellan, which has been dead money for over a decade. So what about bond funds? Well, they aren't going anywhere either in this market environment, as this typical chart shows. Again, dead money for a decade, ranging between $7 and $10.50 a share. And we know that rates aren't going up anytime soon. So if stocks, mutual funds, and bonds aren't the answer, what about professional help? As many of you know, there's a big difference between an ordinary managed stockbroker and a professional money manager. I personally know that there are excellent money managers out there, but finding them is very difficult, and most of these funds are already closed. The ordinary money managers and brokers really don't know that much about the market and are just a front man for their research department, which just pushes high commission funds. They have a great pitch for their services, but behind the curtain is just more of the same, high load funds and high commissions. Which brings us to options. The great unknown for those who are unfamiliar with them. If we can just understand how to use them, they give us many more alternatives to trade any type of market that we'll see. And if we learn to sell options, we can generate instant income. Selling options turns our trading business into an insurance company where we can collect premiums month after month. So here's an example of an options trade using a strategy that we call the iron condor. We take a market that is starting to go into a range, which they do quite often, and we create positions that bracket the price. As long as the price doesn't go above the purple line or below the green line by the date of the vertical black line, which is expiration day, then we keep all the premiums that we collected when we placed the trade, and we do it again the next month. So here's how this trade turned out. Even though we had plenty of volatility during the time that we were in the trade, you can see that we can be plenty wrong about our forecast of where prices are going in the short term and still have a large enough cushion to win the majority of the time. This is just one simple example of an options trade, which we'll give more detail on in the next video. So in conclusion, the traditional road to investing isn't working in today's market. But options are working due to their flexibility to match the direction and volatility of any market that we find. Again, you can be wrong about your forecast of the market and still win, unlike the traditional investing vehicles. And that's why we call it the alternate road to investing. Okay, we covered a lot of great material in this video, and I introduced a very simple market strategy that might be the key to either a real retirement or a source of consistent monthly income to help you live a better, more fulfilled lifestyle. In the next video, I'm actually going to give you my favorite trading strategy. That's right, I'm going to dive right into the nuts and bolts of this strategy to tell you how to enter, defend, and exit this strategy in a very clear, easy to understand format that you can begin to study and incorporate into your trading. And what's great about it is that I can be wrong about my forecast for the market and still pull down a monthly profit. This is really, really exciting stuff that you don't want to miss. So keep your eyes peeled for my email, and in the meantime, please share your comments below. I'd love to hear your story, share your thoughts or questions, and if I've helped you in any way, just let me know. Talk to you soon.